Though medical science has made marvelous progress in the past century in solving some of the mysteries of the brain, the truth is that knowledge in this complex area is still in its infancy. We still do not know exactly how the brain works, nor exactly how and why parts of it malfunction. One thing is certain, however: no individual, family, or group is immune to the effects of mental illness. Furthermore, we're learning that many mental illnesses result from chemical disorders in the brain, just as diabetes results from a chemical disorder in the pancreas. Why then is there such misunderstanding and fear surrounding mental illness? What constitutes mental illness? Should persons suffering from depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, etc. be treated with care? The same care as those with a heart problem or a broken bone? According to the National Institute of Mental Health, mental ailments affect more than 1/4 of the United States, and about 6% are classified as serious mental disorders. However, there are many myths about this issue. Credit to the National Alliance for Research of Schizophrenia and Depression. Let's delve into and discover some of the myths of mental illness and then debunk them as we talk about them a little bit more. Myth number 1. Psychiatric disorders are not true medical illnesses like heart disease and diabetes. People who have a mental illness are just crazy. Fact: brain disorders like heart disease and diabetes are legitimate medical illnesses. Research shows there are genetic and biological causes for psychiatric disorders, and they can be treated effectively. Myth number 2. People with a severe mental illness, such as schizophrenia, are usually dangerous and violent. Fact: statistics show the incidence of violence in people who have a brain disorder is not much higher than it is in the general population. Those suffering from a psychosis such as schizophrenia are more often frightened, confused, and despairing rather than violent. Myth number 3. Mental illness is the result of bad parenting. Fact: most experts agree that a genetic susceptibility combined with other risk factors leads to a psychiatric disorder. In other words, mental illnesses have a physical cause. Myth number 4. Depression results from a personality weakness or character flaw, and people who are depressed could just snap out of it if they tried hard enough. Fact: depression has nothing to do with being lazy or weak. It results from changes in brain chemistry or brain function, and meditation and/or psychotherapy to help people recover. Myth number 5. Schizophrenia means split personality, and there is no way to control it. Fact: schizophrenia is often confused with multiple personality disorder. Actually, schizophrenia is a brain disorder that robs people of their ability to think clearly and logically. The estimated 2.5 million Americans with schizophrenia have symptoms ranging from social withdrawal to hallucinations and delusions. Medication has helped many of these individuals to leading full, fulfilling, productive lives. Myth number 6. Depression is a normal part of the aging process. Fact: it is not normal for adults to be depressed. Signs of depression in older people include a loss of interest in activities, sleep disturbances, and lethargy. Depression in the elderly is often undiagnosed, and it is important for seniors and their family members to recognize the problem and seek professional help. Number 7. Depression and other illnesses such as anxiety disorders do not affect children or adolescents. Any problems they have are just a part of growing up. Fact. Children and adolescents can develop severe mental illnesses. In the United States, 1 in 10 children and adults and adolescents has a mental disorder severe enough to cause impairment. However, only about 20% of these children receive needed treatment. Left untreated, these problems can get worse. Anyone talking about suicide should be taken very seriously. Myth number 8. If you have mental illness, you can will it away. Being treated for psychiatric disorder means an individual has in some way failed or is weak. Fact. A serious mental illness cannot be willed away. Ignoring the problem does not make it go away either. It takes courage to seek professional help. Myth number 9. Addiction is a lifestyle choice and shows a lack of willpower. People with a substance abuse probably are morally weak or bad. Fact. Addiction is a disease that generally results from changes in brain chemistry. It has nothing to do with being a bad person. Myth number 10. Electroconvulsive therapy, ECT, formerly known as shock treatment, is painful and barbaric. Fact. ECT has given a new lease on life to many people who suffer from severe and debilitating depression. It is used when other treatments such as psychotherapy or medication fail or cannot be used. Patients who receive ECT are asleep and under anesthesia, so they do not feel anything. Overall, the misconceptions about mental disease or mental illness can do irreparable harm to people with legitimate illnesses who should and can be treated. This is a quote by Dr. Herbert Pardis, the president of NARSAD Scientific Council. He also goes on by saying that research in brain disorders is flourishing, and we expect to see new and better treatments that will have the power to change lives and bring hope to many.
Going off what Thomas said about mental illness is that in the past, it was something to be ashamed about, something that people were kind of shrouded in mystery and guilt, and it wasn't talked about. And there was many misconceptions about mental illness, that it was more of insanity, someone was crazy, like there was the big term of mentally insane. That meant that you were unstable or couldn't be in society with all the other normal people. But now we're finding out that mental illness is a type of normal, if you will, which is why I'm glad that in pop culture now we are exploring it and making it more well known. Speaking of Normal, a Broadway show called Next to Normal, and the whole plot is about a mother, a normal mother, but she has bipolar, she's manic depressed, she has mental issues, brought on by the trauma of her son passing away at an early age. So she has to deal with the loss of years without her firstborn child, and it affects her relationship with her daughter, the child they had after he passed away. And it deals with the whole dichotomy of relationship of the family and puts it to music, and it's a brilliant way for people who aren't very familiar with bipolar or any mental illness that they can go in and look. And in this video we do want to show a few clips from the play and just kind of talk about that, as it definitely relates to our subject, our topic of mental illness.
It only hurts when I breathe. It only hurts when I try. color fades to white and gray and black. When tomorrow terrifies you, but you'll die if you look back. You don't know. I know you don't know. You say that you're hurting. It sure doesn't show. You don't know. It lays me so low when you say let go, and I say you don't know. The sensation that you're screaming but you never make a sound, or the feeling that you're falling but you never hit the ground. It just keeps on rushing at you day by day by day by day. You don't know what it's like to live that way, like a refugee, a fugitive, forever on the run. If it gets me, it will kill me, but I don't know what I've done.
Now, as you can see with the clips that we've shown you of Next to Normal, this family deals with mental illness in a variety of different ways, whether it's medication, therapy, or ECT. If people can understand that there are options, that there are ways of dealing with mental illness, maybe they won't be so afraid of it. And that's why I'm really glad that this musical does bring to light mental illness and makes it more of a topical subject. There was a time when this stuff wasn't discussed or even understood, so it's really great that education and medication and science has definitely shed some light on chemical imbalance as well as emotional health. So I would encourage other media, which I know that there are documentaries and there are movies, but if we can stop hiding it, and I think that's the trend now, is to kind of get that message out there through the musical Next to Normal. That's one way, through the documentaries out there. If television shows and movies depict it more, and not just like psychodrama thrillers about the crazy, insane people that are mentally unstable and kill people or whatever, because that's not always the case. Depression is real, mental illness is real, people are affected by this, and sometimes it can result in death, by either suicide or accidental suicide, even just wrong medication can kill somebody. And so it's a real serious thing, so people know about it more and realize that they shouldn't be afraid of it, and that there are resources out there to help you and to help others that you know. I think that would be the best recourse, is just to be very open about it and not to be afraid of it. That's why there's so many myths and misconceptions. I think fear, so we don't need to fear it, we just need to hear about it and learn how we can deal with it.